Stanley, scuba, sailing, and adventures. I appreciate you being here with me to log an entry in the travel journal. If this is your first time, please hit that subscribe button. Today we'll be scuba diving St. Kitts Brimstone Shallows. This is dive 5 in this 19-part series, scuba diving St. Kitts and Saba. All of the videos in this series were recorded during a week-long liveaboard on the Caribbean Explorer 2. We started in St. Kitts, cruising and diving, then diving in Saba, and finally ending in St. Martin, although we didn't do any diving in St. Martin. St. Kitts is officially known as St. Kitts and Nevis. It's a small volcanic island in the eastern Caribbean that feels like a blend of rugged adventure and laid-back island rhythm. At least that's the vibe I got. It's part of what are referred to as the Leeward Islands, and it sits just west of Antigua and southeast of Puerto Rico. Here we're looking at the invasive lionfish. The lionfish don't have any natural predators here in the Caribbean. I think this is a first for me. We have a pair of orange spotted filefish. The orange spotted filefish range in size from 4 to 7 inches, reaching a maximum of 8.5 inches, and are usually found in depths of water from 15 to 60 feet. A little bit about the dive site. The Brimstone Shallows is located off the northwestern coast of St. Kitts, near Brimstone Hill Fortress National Park. This dive site, like most Caribbean islands that I've experienced, has the better diving on what we refer to as the Caribbean side. If you were to draw the island like a circle, the dive site sits on the calmer Caribbean side, away from the stronger Atlantic exposure. As you can see, it's a vibrant reef with a lot of activity. I do use my Garmin Descent when I dive, so I do have an image that shows the dive site on a map, shows the entry and exit point. I sometimes share those in the video. Is that something you'd be interested in seeing? Please drop me a note and let me know. If there's enough interest, I'll start including those in all of the dives. The dive started at 8:06 a.m. and lasted just over 58 minutes. I recorded an average depth of 43 feet and a maximum depth of 69 feet. My dive computer reported a comfortable average water temperature of 82 degrees Fahrenheit. As you can see, there's quite a bit of particulate in the water, but surprisingly, the visibility is still pretty good. And I guess pretty good is a very relative term. I'm guessing maybe 60 feet here. We weren't really very far into the dive, and it was just about this time that the reef sharks showed up. It seems to me, anytime I'm diving somewhere and there's a lot of fish, a lot of activity on the reef, you usually see some reef sharks. I'm not sure how many reef sharks we saw on this particular dive. It might have just been 2, maybe more, but they were very interested in our dive group. And throughout the rest of the dive, they would cut through the group and make close passes. Reef sharks range in size from 5 to 8 feet, reaching a maximum of 10 feet, and are most often found in depths of water from 0 to 150 feet. Distinctive characteristics of the reef shark include the underside tips of the pectoral fins, the tips of the ventral fins, anal fins, and rear lower lobe of the tail are all dark to black. In addition, the first dorsal fin is relatively small and starts behind the pectoral fin. Lastly, the gill slits are relatively small and they start above the plane of the pectoral fin. They're spectacular to watch swim. I really enjoy seeing sharks on a dive. And they do seem quite curious about our dive group. You can see here as our dive guide starts to swim away, the shark starts to follow him until he turns around. And as he turns back to look toward the shark changes direction. As I mentioned, I do enjoy seeing sharks on a dive, but personally I feel that sharks change the dynamic of the dive. And what I mean by that is, for myself personally, I find that when there are sharks around, I'm constantly looking for the sharks and watching the sharks rather than focusing on the smaller fish and other things on the dive site. I'm not saying that's good or bad, it's just different, and that's the way I'm personally impacted when I see sharks on a dive. Here's a nice sized trumpetfish coming into view. The Atlantic trumpetfish range in size from 1.5 to 2.5 feet, reaching a maximum of 3 feet, and are most often found in depths of water from 15 to 80 feet. The distinctive characteristics include the long, thin body and the trumpet-like mouth. And here's the reef shark, which never seems to be very far away. You can see there's another one that splits off to the right. This one comes in for a little bit closer pass. Unfortunately, with the particulate in the water, I didn't get any great photographs of the sharks, but a wonderful experience nonetheless. And yes, here again we have another reef shark, and the rest of this dive would be shark-filled. Maybe for the sharks it's a diver-filled day or diver-infested waters. I'm curious about all the particulate in the water. There seem to be quite a few dives here in St. Kitts that the water was similar, so I don't know if there was a recent storm or if this is just common here on the island. Perhaps there's a lot of runoff because of the shape of the island with that volcano shape. If you have any background or information, I'd love to know. Again, here we have the reef sharks splitting right through our dive group. From what I've read, the reef sharks following and circling our group and swimming through our group is investigative behavior, not stalking behavior. The research I found said that when they do this, they're not lining up an attack, they're trying to get a better visual profile, pick up on scent cues, and assess movement and behavior. And divers typically move slowly, maintain eye contact, stay in groups, and don't try to escape. All of those signals indicate to the sharks that we're not prey. I don't know if that means if you suddenly started swimming away from the shark, that it might chase you and have a taste. Can't answer that. Probably not a good idea. Not something I'm going to try. They do seem to be getting closer throughout the dive. I often wonder if the charging sound of the flashes and the sound they make when they go off somehow attracts the reef sharks, because I feel like I get a lot closer passes than some of the other divers. Maybe it's the lights, maybe it's the sound, maybe it's the electrical impulses. Uncertain. I did have a reef shark once come and give the dome on my camera a bump, but that was a pretty unique situation. The shark was working a school of jacks in about 60 feet of water, and that school and the shark were very close to the surface, and I was swimming inverted directly underneath the shark and school of jacks, and it was a bright sunny day, so I don't know if it was a combination of the reflections off the dome or the flash of the lights, or simply that I was directly under the shark while it was working the school of jacks. But that shark came straight down and bumped the lens of my camera, and it crossed 40 feet in maybe 2 seconds. Luckily, I had the GoPro running on top of the dive housing, and I got the whole thing on video, and I was shooting pictures as fast as I could, and at one point the shark was too close for me to focus any longer, and I realized that, and all of that happened so fast. It was just unbelievable. And when I went back and watched the video, yeah, it's amazing how fast your brain works and the things that you can think and how quickly you can think them. Because I remember thinking, I'm trying to push down on the shutter, but the camera won't focus because the shark's too close, and then boom, and then it was gone. What we're looking at here is the spotted eagle ray. The spotted eagle ray range in size from 4 to 6.5 feet, reaching a maximum of 8 feet, and are usually found in depths of water from 6 to 80 feet. The distinctive characteristics of the spotted eagle ray include the numerous white spots and circular markings over the dark back. Again, this is Brimstone Shallows in St. Kitts, and a spectacular dive site, as you can see. A vibrant reef with a variety of fish, sharks, spotted eagle rays. You can't ask for much more than that in a dive site. I love when the reef sharks look directly or come directly at you. Always gets the heart pumping a little bit. Here you can get a pretty good view of those distinctive characteristics, specifically the black edges and tips of the fins I mentioned earlier. Similarly to the sharks, I'm not sure how many spotted eagle rays there were here, or if this was the same spotted eagle ray just circling our group, but we would end up seeing either the same or multiple spotted eagle rays throughout the rest of the dive. They're so graceful, I love to watch them swim. The spotted eagle rays feed mostly on mollusks they dig for in the sand. It's really a lot of fun to watch them feed. I've never been able to get a good photograph of a spotted eagle ray. They're usually cruising at a pretty good clip, so it's hard to match speed with them, and then when they're digging or feeding in the sand, they kick up a lot of sand and dust. The spotted eagle rays do have on that long thin tail 1 to 5 venomous spines at the base. Here's a great view. You can really see that pronounced head with the flat and tapered snout. Beautiful. Again, reef sharks, spotted eagle rays. What else could you want in a dive site? I think this lone jack was cruising with one of the sharks earlier, and I don't know if he realizes he's on his own now. Here's another interesting pass by one of the reef sharks. So as I said in the beginning, this is dive 5 in this 19-part series. And as far as days, this is day 2 and the first dive of day 2. So the trip consisted of 19 dives for me, and those 19 dives spread over 5.5 days. The first 3 days at St. Kitts, and the last 2.5 days at Saba. I hope you're enjoying the dive series, and I really enjoy comments and feedback, so feel free to share your thoughts.
Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment.